Good morning, everybody. Janet took the opportunity to give us quite a detailed view of where we are to date. What I want to do is maybe lift us to 50,000 feet for a moment before some of my colleagues and others from the mobile sector in the mobile panel bring us back down into the detail again. As was said in the intro, we've been delighted to be involved and have had people seconded into this program for a number of years, and I'd just like to acknowledge the contribution of Dan Bates and Colin Wooldridge in helping us to get to the point we are today. So if I stand back, I see us in a situation now where in the UK and across the globe, economies are starting to pull out of the recession. And from that, there's one thing that's very clear to me. The next wave of economic activity, the next wave of growth is going to be driven by a digital revolution. And in some respects, it would be no understatement to say that we're on the cusp of an historic event, that shift from an analog to a digital world. And we may even look back and mark this time as the time we truly went from BC to AD, from before connectivity to after digital. The Industrial Revolution was enabled by breakthroughs in mechanization, automation, and specialization, but essentially it was sustained and amplified by the fundamental societal and behavioral changes it drove, such as urbanization and the creation of the working week, the clocking on and clocking off, work-life balance, all those things that transform every aspect of how people live their lives today. And having experienced a technology revolution already, there's no doubt in my mind that we're actually at the start of a new revolution. It's being driven by innovation in social media, devices, operating ecosystems, where the possibilities of technology, rather than the technology itself, will again reshape our lives. Digital identity will be one of the essential keys to this next wave of the digital revolution, while it's being powered by mobile. In fact, connectivity is, in essence, the oxygen of modern life. Now, we know the UK is already a very large internet-based economy, in fact, the largest in the G20, and one of the largest digital markets, valued at almost £200 billion. Recent research from Ofcom identified that people now feel that mobile, just like oxygen, is essential for life. And since 2015, more people in the UK access the internet on a mobile device than on a PC or a laptop. As a result, businesses like ours are seeing a phenomenal change in a business. The growth of data on our networks is running at more than 100% per annum, and in urban areas closer to 130% per annum. And just one throwaway statistic, the first 6 months of operating our 4G network, when at the time it only covered 25% of the population, we carried more data in that first 6 months in that footprint than we had carried data on all our networks in every previous generation of technology. So the pace is only just accelerating. People today are always on, always connected, available anywhere, anytime. Interesting to know that 80% of people never switch off their smartphone, never switch it off, and are never further physically separated from it than the length of a charger cable. And this has huge, huge implications. Society is affected by the control of information. Access to data gives individuals the ability to impact and influence much more than previously. And it's also somewhat leveling the playing field between the roles of big and small business too. UK consumers and businesses are connecting like never before. Mobile data is becoming ubiquitous, inexpensive, and the domain of all parts of society, democratizing access to people, to things, and above all, to information. A new era of connectedness, powered by mobile, will power digital Britain. At O2, we've over 25 million customers here in the UK. We also have 12,000 Wi-Fi hotspots with over 11 million users, of which some 10 million of those approximately are non-O2 users. So accessing potentially 35 million people on O2 services. So you can safely say that we are a customer and data-centric organization. And the reason I say this is because I want to highlight that the key to our success is that everything we do and how we do it and why we do it is shaped by our relationship with our customers, but evermore our relationship with our customers' data. Placing the customer at the heart of everything we do is one of the key principles in our business, and it shapes our business decisions. In this environment, trust becomes an essential ingredient. How we behave as a business, the relationship we have with customers, and increasingly, how we help customers or citizens navigate their busy digital lives are not only essential for a successful business. In my view, people do business with brands and people that they trust. But ultimately, it's also essential for helping establish the fundamental building blocks of this new digital world. So I want to talk about the economics of digital identity from this mobile digital perspective. To put this in context, there are some 86 million SIMs being used by people in the UK. Over 60% of our base now using smartphones. And with the rollout of 4G coverage and the adoption of smartphones, it's likely to be absolutely ubiquitous within, across Europe, probably 5 years. And in some of our European economies, including the UK, a lot sooner than that, maybe as soon as the end of 2017. So what does this mean from a customer perspective? It's all about changes in behavior. Customers are increasingly making use of digital services, everything from choosing the way they work, how they get to work, and while they're there, consuming services like online banking, booking a doctor's appointment, buying your Christmas presents, or using .gov.uk for online government services. But this is just the beginning. The amount of data and the way we now connect with it will only serve to accelerate the pace of change. This is a marketplace with 1.5 million apps available. And Cisco, in its latest forecast, estimates the total IP traffic will triple by 2019 to 168 exabytes per month. And for those of you who like big numbers, that's 2 zettabytes per annum. While data on mobile networks is growing at an even faster rate and will continue to increase at more than 100% per annum. A primary driver of this connected devices such as smartphones and tablets. But actually in the future, we're moving from connectivity to connectedness. It will be reinforced by machine to machine and the Internet of Things. So it won't necessarily be connectivity in the old sense of me and my connections, but actually connectedness is me and my connections, but also me and my things and things, all connected in one single ecosystem. The key takeaway from this is that we're in a personal communications environment where individuals, businesses and governments are interacting digitally, not on a daily basis, but on an hourly and a minute-by-minute basis. We're in an app-centric world with the individual at the center of things and the opportunity to enable and empower the individual at the center of this. It's no surprise that when we first launched our business and our brand about 13 years ago that we said, O2 is a world that revolves around you. Actually, the way we're deploying technology now is starting to truly bring that opportunity to life. On average, we now interact with our phones 1,500 times a week. It's insight from Telefónica's privacy team. This all has positive implications right across the piece, be it from education to health, finance, transport, and commerce, as people consume digital products and services at home, in the place of work, or when they're out and about. But there are still challenges. Not everybody is willing to go online. Not everybody is safe and confident. But recent data is positive. For example, during Black Friday sales in the US, mobile purchases accounted for just over a third of the 1.7 billion spent online. And the development of effective, simple, secure identification verification by trusted suppliers, as we've recognized, will serve to accelerate the widespread use of digital services in the public and private sector. So where are we with respect to digital identity and where do we need to go? Well, digital identity underpins the 90 billion in digital e-commerce spend and over 1.2 billion government e-transactions made by 19 million people in the UK. But there are a lot more than 19 million people in the UK, and we need to make sure that there is access for all. And that's a combination of two things. It's delivering the service in a way that it's accessible to more and more people and more choice, as Janet talked about. But one of the challenges it will also deliver is mobile services have traditionally been provided at location, despite the fact that it's mobile. we have more than 98% of the population can get 2G services, but only about 70% of the landmass in the UK is actually served by mobile service. Well, if we want ubiquitous connectivity, which is at the heart of all of our transactions, giving us that confidence and trust to be able to interact anytime, any place, anywhere, we also need to look at government policy and private sector investment strategy to make sure that we do actually deliver ubiquitous connectivity across the geography of the UK, not just in the population locations. However, current online solutions are anchored in email address verification, online passwords, and most consumers are struggling to remember 1, 2, 3, 5 passwords. So current solutions, in my view, are ineffective and simply not customer-centric. Essentially, our initial attempts to build identity and keep people, government and business safe online have been little more than digitizing analog processes. I liken it to the fact that in the early days of television, it was simply radio in front of a camera. We haven't transformed with the access to technology how we deliver the services. We've simply, in the initial phases, started to digitize the old analog processes. Actually, we have an opportunity to completely liberate people in the way that they can interact with their information in an intuitive, digital-first way that will transform the experience for people. So customers are increasingly looking to trusted partners to help guide, recommend, and curate their digital world, to bring the possibilities to life for them. And mobile operators are helping with other partners to lead the way to make the smartphone and mobile number a new, secure, and convenient source of mobile identity, with the SIM providing a second and more secure factor of authentication. Interestingly, in our recent Telefonica privacy survey, your telecoms provider was trusted by 81% of people to manage their privacy and personal information, ranking third only behind your bank and your insurance company from a trust point of view. And interestingly, the party that most people spend most of their time online with, social networks, were actually identified as the least trusted party. Almost 50% of those surveyed identifying them as the least trusted. The panel in the next session will expand on mobile verification project in more detail. But in work we did recently with Telefonica in Brazil, using personal data for identity and credit vetting, they were able to improve credit outcomes. By that I mean reducing fraud, higher accept rate, higher credit limits by 27%. So I would like to put something out there to the audience. We're currently talking about the market for digital identity solutions and its focus on things like fraud management and online password resets. I see it as a lot more than this. I see it as an opportunity to create the environment that delivers digital confidence, that allows more and more people to engage positively online. At the other end of the spectrum, O2 is partnering with the NSPCC to make sure that every child can go safe online, because every parent will have the tools that they need to ensure their children can embrace the possibilities of the internet safely. We need to do the same in the adult world through the delivery of intuitive services that deliver identity as an essential ingredient of a safe, trusted and positive environment in which to do business, to obtain services, and to interact in an environment where the individual is at the center and is in charge. So I believe we're just at the start. This is an opportunity for us to show real ambition, to show real creativity. I believe we stand on the threshold of a revolution. And I hope today you will be ambitious to push those boundaries and open up the possibilities enabled by digital identity and digital confidence. And I want to challenge you as to how you see this evolving and where you see the most value add. The opportunity is now. We're at that tipping point. It's organizations like OIX and it's environments like this where we can create the conditions to actually make a major step forward. I'm hugely excited about the possibilities of technology in a mobile-led world. We have to make sure that we embrace that opportunity and share that excitement and positivity with the entire population. Thank you all very much.